Hello and welcome to my walkthrough of the Pearson Edexcel GCSE June 2024 Mathematics Paper 3 Calculator Paper Higher Tier. Let's jump straight into it. Question number 1. Find the highest common factor of 63 and 105. So if we do a factor tree for these, 63 is just 3 times 21, 21 is 3 times 7, 105 is 5 times 21, 21 is 3 times 7. The prime factors that make up both of these are 3 and 7, so the highest common factor is just going to be 3 times 7, which is just 21. Question number 2, part A. Write 5.3 times 10 to the 4 as an ordinary number. So I'm going to say 5.3 times 10 to the 4, and I'm going to move the decimal point 1, 2, 3, 4 times, which just means we're going to have 53,000. 53,000. Part II. Write 7.4 times 10 to the minus 5 as an ordinary number. In the same way, we're going to move the decimal point 5 times the other direction. So we're going to have 0.000074. So to check, the decimal point was here at the start. We've moved it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 places, which is what we want from the 10 to the minus 5. And part B, calculate the value of 9.7 times 10 to the 6 plus 2.45 times 10 to the 7. I'm just going to put these into my calculator. 9.7 times 10 to the 6 is just 97 and then 5 zeros. And 2.45 times 10 to the 7 is just 2, 4, 5 and 5 zeros. Add them together, making sure you've got the correct number of zeros, and you get 3, 4, 2 and 5 zeros, which is the same as decimal points currently here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 3.42 times 10 to the 7. Question 3. The diagram shows a solid triangular prism. Rana is trying to draw the side elevation of the solid prism from the direction of the arrow. Here is her answer on a centimetre grid. Explain why the side elevation is not correct. Well, what she should have done, because this is 4 high, this is 4 high in her diagram, she should have done the perpendicular line like this, which is actually going to be less than 4 because 4 is the hypotenuse in this triangle scenario. So I'm just going to say the height should be less. She should have taken the perpendicular. The 4. It's a 1 mark question, so you don't need to write too much for this one. On the centimetre grid below, draw a plan of the solid prism. So this should be, what have we got up here? 6 along the bottom and 7 along. So we're going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You would use a ruler in the exam. I'm on an iPad, so I do not have one here. 6, 7, 6, 7, and 6 down. And I'm also just going to draw the line in the middle to demonstrate the top of the prism. And we're done. Question number 4. Company has 25,000 workers. The number of workers increases at a rate of 6% per year for 3 years. Calculate the total number of workers at the end of the 3 years. All we have to do for this is 25,000 times 1.06 to the power 3. As to increase it by 6% per year, you would just multiply it by 1.06, but then you would multiply it by 1.06 again, and multiply it by 1.06 again. So we're going to do that all in one go on the calculator, and we get 29775.4, but we're talking about people here, so it has to be a whole number. So 29775. Question 5. Habib has two identical tins. He puts 600 grams of flour into one of the tins. The flour fills the tin completely. The density of the flour is 0.1 grams per centimeter cubed. He puts 600 grams of salt in the other tin. The salt does not fill the tin completely. The volume of the space that is not filled is 700 centimeters cubed. Work out the density of the salt. So first, I'm going to say the volume of the tin is going to be your grams that you've put in divided by your density. It's actually a clue here for the units. You're doing grams divided by grams per centimeters cubed, and that will give you centimeters cubed, which is what we want for the volume. So 600 divided by 0.6 on my calculator is just 1,000 centimeters cubed. They're identical tins, so we know that's the volume of the other tin. Volume of salt, therefore, is going to be 1,000 minus the 700, which is 300 centimeters cubed. And then density of the salt is just going to be the 600 grams divided by 300. Again, this is grams per centimeters cubed if you ever get stuck with the units, and that's just going to be 2 for the density. Question 6. Tim has two biased coins, A and B. He's going to throw both. The probability that A will land on heads is 0.6. The probability that B will land on heads is 0.55. Complete the tree diagram. So all of these need to just add up to 1. So 0.6 and 0.4, 0.45, and then this is the same as the one we had above. Tim throws coin A once and he throws coin B once. Work out the probability that both coins land on heads. That's just going to be this probability multiplied by this, as this is heads and this is heads. 0.6 times 0.55. Again, do that on my calculator. We get 0.33. Question 7. A paddling pool is in the shape of a cylinder. The pool has radius 100, it has depth 30, and the pool is empty. It's then filled with water at a rate of 250 centimeters cubed per second. Work out the number of minutes it takes to fill the pool completely. Give your answer correct to the nearest minute. First thing we're going to do is find the volume of the pool. Is going to be the surface area of the top multiplied by the height. So we're going to get pi r squared, which is pi times 100 squared, multiplied by the height, which is your 30. And that's just going to be, again, on my calculator, pi times 100 squared times 30 gives me 942,477.7961. Then we need to convert this from per second to per minute. So if you've got 250 centimeters cubed per second, that is going to be the same as 250 times 60 centimeters cubed per minute. So 250 times 60, 15,000. Then all we have to do is 15,000, sorry, the 942,477 divided by the 15,000. So 942,477,7961 over 15,000. 942,477,7961 divided by 15,000, and I get 62.8. They want it to the nearest minute, so 63 minutes is our answer. Question 8. On the grid below, draw and label the vector 2a plus b. So 2a is just going to be 6, 4. B is minus 1, 4, so it's going to become 5, 8. So all we need to do is 5 along and 8 up. So we'll start here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Of course, I've gone too low, haven't I? Let's just start a bit lower down. Let's start here. 5's still the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this point here, we'll draw our vector, and the arrow is important, 2a plus b. Question number 9. The diagram shows a cube and a square-based pyramid. the volume of the cube is equal to the volume of the pyramid. Work out the perpendicular height h of the pyramid. So the volume of the cube is nice and easy. It's just going to be 6 cubed, 6 times 6 times 6, which is 216 centimeters cubed. We know that the volume is the same of the two of them. So we can say that, as we know, the volume of a pyramid is 1/3 times the base, which is 8 times 8, so 1/3 times 64 times the height. And we know this equals 216. So if I rearrange this, I get h equals 216 over 64 times 3. So 260 divided by 64 times 3 just gives us 10.125. Question number 10. There are only red counters and yellow counters in bag A. The number of red counters compared to the number of yellow is 3 to 5. There are only green counters and blue counters in bag B. The number of counters in B is half the number of counters in A. Given that there are x red counters in A, use algebra to show that the total number of counters in bag A and bag B is 4x. Okay, so we know it's x numbers of red counters. So x compared to yellow equals 3 to 5. Therefore, yellow counters equal 5/3 of x. So that means bag A total counters equals x, which is the red counters, plus 5/3 of x, which is the yellow counters, which is going to be 8/3 of x. We are told the number of counters in B is half the number of counters in A. Therefore, B total equals 8 over 3x divided by 2, which is 4 over 3x. Therefore, A plus B equals 8 over 3x plus 4 over 3x equals 12 over 3x, which equals 4x, which is what we were after. Question 11. Mina records the speeds in miles per hour of some cars on a road on Friday. She uses her results to work out the information in this table. On the grid, draw a box plot to show the information. So the lowest speed we'll do first, which is 25, which is here. The range is 37, so we're going to say 62. So each square is worth 1, so we're going to say that's here. Gone too big with that one, so I'll just line it up with this one. There we go. The lower quartile is 35, so that's where our box is going to start, which is about, oh, that's 30, which is going to be about here. Median is 40, so we'll draw a line there as well. The interquartile range is 12, which means 35 plus 12 is the upper quartile, which is here. We'll make this into a box, and we'll attach the lines, and that's us done. Mina also records the speed of some cars on the same road on Sunday. She uses her results to draw this box plot. Compare the distribution of the speeds on Friday with the distribution of the speeds on Sunday. So this is worth 2 marks, this second part. So all I'm going to say is the median on Sunday is higher than Friday. I'm going to do 2 points as it's a 2-mark question. And I will say the interquartile range for Friday is less than Sunday. There's many things you can say to describe these. As long as they're correct, you'll pick up the 2 marks. Question 12. The diagram shows triangle T drawn on a grid. Enlarge triangle T by scale factor 2 with -2, with center of enlargement 0, 0. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write down the coordinates of T, which are 1, 2, 1, 3, and 3, 2. And if we're enlarging by scale factor -2, all we can do is multiply by -2 for each of these. So we get -2, 4, -2, 6, and -6, -4. These should be minuses, sorry. -4, -6, -4. And then we just plot that. So what we've got -2, -4, we've got -2, -6, and we've got -6, -4. There you go. And then we'll draw our new enlarged triangle. Question number 13. There are 30 students in a class. A teacher is going to choose at random 2 of the students. Work out the number of different pairs of students that the teacher can choose. All we need to do for this is the number of students multiplied by 1 less the number of students and divided by 2. You can absolutely do this the slow way if you really want to. It will take ages. So 30 times 29 divided by 2 is 435. It's just an easy method to remember. These are the sort of random questions that they do throw in year on year, so it's worth knowing. 14. At the start of 2022, Kim invested some money in a savings account. The account paid 3.5% compound interest each year. At the end of 2022, interest was added to the account, then Kim took £750 from the account. At the end of 23, interest was added to the account, then Kim took £1,000 from the account. There was then £2,937.14 in the account. Work out how much money Kim invested at the start of 2022. Okay. So at the end, she had 2,937.14. So let's work backwards. So she took the 1,000 from the account last. So let's add 1,000 on. 3,937.14. Interest was added to the account at 3.5%. So let's now do 3,937.14 divided by 1.035, which is the process of adding the interest backwards. We have 3,804 now. She took 750 from the account, so let's add that back on. Curious to see if this is actually going to give us a whole number, or if they usually like giving you a whole number answer for this. And then lastly, again, I'm going to divide by 1.035. The truth, 4,400. It's a whole number. It's just the thing they like doing is it's a good way to check if you've done it right. It's not always the case, but more often than not, if you're going to invest some money in a savings account, you're not going to invest £2,800 and 11p. You're going to invest a whole number, so make it a real question. Question 15. Simplify fully a minus 3 squared over 5 lots of a minus 3. We'll just cancel an a minus 3. That's all we need to do on this one. A minus 3 over 5. Part B, factorise 3k squared plus 11k minus 4. It's going to be 2 brackets. It's going to be 3k. And then we want the 3 to multiply by the 4 so that we get 12k. And then we want a minus 1k to bring us back down to 11. So we're going to go with 3k minus 1. Lots of k plus 4. That'll be 3k squared. That'll be positive 12k. That'll be minus 1k. So that'll give us our 11. And minus 1 times 4. So that is correct. 3k minus 1, k plus 4. Part C, simplify fully 4 minus x squared over x squared plus 3x divided by x plus 2 over x plus 3. It's a little bit more complicated. Right, your 4 minus x squared can be rewritten as 2 minus x multiplied by 2 plus x straight away. The x squared plus 3x can be written as x lots of x plus 3. And if you're dividing by those fractions, you can multiply by the reciprocal like that. Now we can cancel, 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 and we get 2 minus x over x. Question 16. The functions f and g are given by f of x equals 12 over x plus 1 and g of x equals 5 minus 3x. Part A, find f minus 3. That's just going to be 12. Oops. It's going to be 12 over minus 3 plus 1, which is 12 over minus 2, which is just minus 6. Find fg of 1. So you do g first. So g of 1 is 5 minus 3, which is 2. G of 1. And then you do f of that. So f of 2 is 12 over 3, which is just 4. And the third part is find g minus 1 of 4. I always like rewriting these. So we have g of x equals 5 minus 3x. I'm going to rewrite that as y equals 5 minus 3x. And then I'm actually just going to do y of minus 1 of 4. It's just easier for me to rearrange it like that. So we're then going to say y plus 3x equals 5. We're then going to say 3x equals 5 minus y. We're going to divide through by 3. 5 minus y over 3. And we want it of 4. So we're going to do 5 minus 4 over 3, which is a third. Question 17. A ball is thrown upwards and reaches a maximum height. The ball then falls and bounces repeatedly. After the nth bounce, the ball reaches a height of hn. After the next bounce, the ball reaches a height given by hn plus 1 equals 0.55 hn. After the first bounce, the ball reaches a height of 8 meters. What height does the ball reach after the fourth bounce? Okay, so h1 equals 8. Which means h2 equals 0.55 times 8, which is, on my calculator, 4.4, which means h3 equals 0.55 times 4.4, which is 2.42, which means h4 is 0.55 times 2.42, and we get 1.331. That's our answer. Question 18. ABCD is a quadrilateral. The area of triangle ABC is 54 centimeters squared. Calculate the area of triangle ACD. Give your answer correct to 3 significant figures. This is a 5-mark question, this one. So what we need to do first is use the formula. I'm going to write it. Area equals a half AB sine C on triangle ABC. So all we're going to do for that is 54, which you already have, equals a half times 17 lots of the side we don't have. So we're going to do AC because we've got the angle over here from the other side. In fact, it's probably easier if I label this ABC like that. And this will be angle C. 17 times AC sine 35. Therefore, AC equals, do this on my calculator actually. We'll do 54 times 2 to get rid of the half, so we're going to have 108 divided by 17 sine 35. Let's do that in one go. 108 divided by 17 sine 35, and we get 11.0760, etc. And now we're going to find CAD angle here. All we do for that, so actually say a CAD angle, it's just going to be 180 minus the other two angles, as we know it's a triangle. So we know all angles in a triangle add up to 180. We get 75 degrees for that one. And then we will use the sine rule to work out, in fact, I'm going to write this on here, 75 degrees, and we know this is 11.076. Use the sine rule to work out another side length. We'll work out this side length here. Let's call it D. Why not? So we're going to say that AC, which is our 11.076, divided by the angle opposite it, which is sine 57, equals our side D, which is AD, over sine 48. Therefore, D equals, what is it, 11.076 times sine 48 over sine 57. Again, I'll do this on my calculator. 11.076 times sine 48 divided by sine 57. I get a 9.81. And then I can do a half AB sine C again to find the area of the triangle ACD. So we're going to do a half times 11.076 times 9.81 times sine of 75. And I believe, if I do that correctly, times 11.076 times 0.5 times sine 75, we get 52.5. As I want it to three significant figures. I'll be very careful. That's a very complicated question. People slip up on these three significant figures. Like I could have written 52.50 there, and I'd lost the mark just for being silly. Question 19. R equals P over Q. P equals 5.88 times 10 to the power 8, correct to three significant figures. Q equals 3.6 times 10 to the 5, correct to two significant figures. Work out the lower bound for R. You give your answer as an ordinary number, correct to the nearest integer. You must show all your working. Well, if you want the lower bound, you want P to be as small as possible and Q to be as big as possible. So it's just going to be 5.885 on the top. Sorry, I've done it the wrong way around already. You want P to be as small as possible, like I just said. 5.75, 5.875, there we go, they're in the end. Multiplied by 10 to the 8, divided by 3.65 times 10 to the 5. Now I'm going to put in my calculator. 5.875 times 10 to the power 8, divided by 3.65 times 10 to the power 5. And I just get 1609.589, etc. What does it want? Give your answer as an ordinary number, correct to the nearest integer. So 1610 is our answer. Question 20. X minus 4, x plus 2, and 3x plus 1 are three consecutive terms in an arithmetic sequence. Find the value of x. So all we know from this is that x plus 2 minus x minus 4, so almost like the gap between the two terms, has to equal the gap between the next two terms. You see what I mean? That one take that one must equal that one take that one by the nature of an arithmetic sequence. So the left-hand side is just going to be 2 minus 4 because the x's are going to cancel. It gives us 6. The right-hand side is going to give us 2x minus 1. Therefore, 2x equals 7. So x is going to equal 3.5. Y minus 2, y plus 2, and 3y plus 1 are three consecutive terms of a geometric sequence. This is going to get more complicated. Find the possible values of y. How many marks is this worth? 5. Jeez. Okay. So in a similar way to how we did the first one, where it was just finding out the gap between them, this time it's going to be like a multiplication. So let's call it r. Lots of y minus 4 is going to equal y plus 2. And the same r, lots of y plus 2, is going to equal 3y plus 1. So if I rearrange these to get r equals, we're going to have r equals y plus 2 over y minus 4. And it also equals 3y plus 1 over y plus 2. Now I'm going to multiply the denominators up to get rid of them. So we're going to have here y plus 2 squared equals 3y plus 1 over y plus 2. 3y plus 1 over y plus 2 is going to equal 3y plus 1 over y plus 2. 3y plus 2 squared equals 3y plus 1 over y plus 2. 3y plus 2 squared equals 3y plus 1 over y plus 2. 3y plus 2 squared equals 3y plus 1 over y plus 2. 3y plus 2 squared equals 3y plus 1 over y plus 2. 3y plus 2 squared equals 3y plus 1 over y plus 2. 3y plus 2 squared equals 3y plus 1 over y plus 2. 3y plus 2 squared equals 3y plus 1 over y plus 2. 3y plus 2 squared equals 3y plus 1 over y plus 2. 3y plus 2 squared equals 3y plus 1 over y plus 2. 3y plus 2 squared equals 3y plus 1 over y plus 2. 3y plus 2 squared equals 3y plus 1 over y plus 2. 3y plus 2 squared equals 3y plus 1 over y plus 2. 3 y minus 4 lots of 3y plus 1. Now I'll expand out these brackets. Y squared plus 4y plus 4 equals 3y squared minus 12y minus 4. Where's the other y? It's over there. Plus y minus 4. So I'll get all the y squareds together. We're going to say this is 2y squared. We've got x equals 0. We've got 12y plus 1y, so we're at minus 11y, then 4 on the other side, so that's a minus 15y. We have minus 4 on this side, 4 on this side, minus 8. Now I'll put this into the quadratic formula. So we're going to get minus b, so 15 plus minus the square root of b squared, 15 squared, minus 15 squared. Minus b plus minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2a. This is my calculator, so 15 squared I'll do first. Minus, what is that? 4 times 2 times 8. So it's 64 positive, so plus 64. So I'll rewrite this as 15 plus minus the square root of 289 over 4. Square root of 289, lo and behold, there's a whole number. 15 plus minus 17 over 4. Therefore, we either have 32 over 4 or minus 2 over 4. So our answers are going to be 8 and minus a half. Question 21, the final question on the paper. The diagram shows a circle radius r centimeters and 2 regular hexagons. Each side of the larger hexagon, ABCDEF, is a tangent to the circle. Each side of the smaller hexagon, PQRSTU, is a chord of the circle. By constructing perimeters, show that 3 is less than pi is less than 2 root 3. Okay, so if we look at the inner hexagon first, each side is a chord of the circle, subtending 60 degrees at the center. And we know that a chord length is going to be the chord length is going to be 2r sine 30. Sine 30 is a half. So this is going to be 2r times a half, which just gives us r, where r is the radius of the circle. So you have to think of this whole question in terms of the circle. Well, that's the way I need to see it anyway to understand hexagons flying about all over the place. Therefore, the perimeter of the hexagon is just going to be 6 lots of the radius, as it's 6 sides. So that's going to be 6r. If we look at the circle, this one's the easy one. The circumference is just 2 pi r. We can leave it in terms of r, and we can leave it in terms of pi, because pi is in the answer. Now, we need to look at the other, we'll call this the outer hexagon. So we know that the formula for a line segment from the center of the circle, from the center of the polygon to the midpoint on one of its sides is this formula. We'll call it A, equals the side length multiplied by cos 30. So cos 30 is, of course, root 3 over 2. So we're going to say side times root 3 over 2. But a key thing here, I'm running out of space. I don't need enough space for this question. A key thing here is that each side is a tangent. I'll put each side is a tangent to the circle. Which means RA equals the radius. Therefore, we know R equals our side length, let's put S, times root 3 over 2. Therefore, S equals 2r over root 3. So, the perimeter, where do I put this now? I'll just keep squeezing it in here. So perimeter is going to be 6 times that. So we're going to have 12r over root 3. So, based on that, we know the perimeter of this one is bigger than the perimeter of this one, is bigger than the perimeter of this one. We'll do it here. Therefore, so we can say 6r is less than 2 pi r is less than 12r over root 3. Let's divide through everything by 2r so that we get 3 is less than pi is less than 6 over root 3. We're almost there. It's being a bit pedantic with the way that they want it. Let's do it up here. 6 over root 3 is the same as 6 root 3 over 3 if you times top and bottom by root 3, which is the same as 2 root 3. We'll write it out again here. They don't give you enough space. That's how you do it. So that's the last question. As always, thanks very much for watching. If you've got any questions, comments, leave them below, and I'll catch you next time.